This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the cuzzz sent you. Hello everybody, and welcome to Friday Night with the Cuzzz. How's everybody doing tonight? Hello Wicked Insanity, Caboose 121, James Galton, Joe Raider, Skull Calvary John, Nissy J. How's it going everybody? Glad you all can make it in tonight. Joe Raider, I said hello. Caboose 121, see I'm going backwards. Mr. Roy Eltham, how's it going buddy? Glad you can make it in tonight. John Tanzillo. And who else we got? Heath, how's it going buddy? Glad you can make it in. Kevin Brown, how's it going? I hope you're okay. I missed you last week. Let's see. Ralph Greenwood. Sorry, I didn't get any names to you today, Ralph. I've been just so busy, dealing with these doctors and stuff like that. So what else we got in here? Let's see. Dave Strange. How's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in. I did see Dave BNSF in here earlier, and Mr. Art PDRR Engineer. How's it going? Glad you can make it in. Steve 87 PSAP. How's it going? All right, so you guys all know that there was also a possibility that this wouldn't happen tonight, and neither would a video happen tomorrow. Well, guess what? This is happening tonight, and there will be a video tomorrow. This is the first time I have gone into the hospital with a minor surgery. Well, it wasn't really minor surgery. It was probably an incision about that long, and everything went well as far as the procedure goes. But it took me a long time to recuperate after the anesthesia. It took so long that they kept me overnight. It was supposed to be an outpatient thing. They kept me overnight because they were worried about what's going to happen to this guy. Hello, Mr. Norman Rowe. How's it going? Mr. Roy Smith, Men's Scale Union Pacific Evanston Division. How's it going? Glad you can make it in tonight. Anthony Dodge, glad you can make it in tonight. So anyhow, the doctor told me that yesterday when he was talking to me in the morning, yesterday morning, he said, hey, you can take that bandage off. I said, yeah. I said, don't I have to get some dressing? He said, no, you don't need no dressing. I said, and why is that? Well, because what they did was they did the stitches. No, it's benign. They'd done a biopsy a while ago. So anyhow, the way he did it, he put the stitches under the skin, and then he put skin glue on top of it. Skin glue. I wonder if it was, let's see, Tamaya, or was it? I don't know. Tigger Evans, my buddy from across the pond. Glad you can make it in. Wait, I just missed somebody. Wait. Come back here. Oh, that was Joey Busek. How's it going? Had to stay tonight for the outpatient procedure too, the anesthesia. Because, oh, wow. Yeah, it was just giving me, I was just nauseous and dizzy. They had to almost carry me into the bathroom a couple of times. Gorilla Glue. Yeah, there you go, John Tanzillo. Hello, Brother Sparky. How's it going, buddy? Model Master Skin Glue. When he told me that, I kind of cracked up, man. Let's see if you guys can see that. It doesn't matter anyhow. I left the bandage on. He told me I could take it out the night when I went home, but I elected to keep it on till tonight. Hello, Mr. Scott Johnson. How's it going, buddy? Dragon Lover. Glad you can make it in tonight. Flying Crow. Anyhow, let's see what we got going on here. All right. My super chats from last week. RDA N Scale. That's Alan. Rick Bailey, Eminem Short Lines 2 times, and Roy Eltham. Thank you so much, guys. I do appreciate that. Like I say, that contributes to all the gifts and stuff that I buy. And I put a little bit towards my layout. I'm not going to tell you guys anything different than that. Dan's Grand Valley Railroad. How's it going, buddy? John 2618. Glad you can make it in. Oh, nice. Got 40 people in here. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see. And I thought I saw a rail artist in here before earlier. MSIL Hunter 5. How's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in. Just trying to see if there's anybody else that I missed here. I really don't want to miss anybody. Hey, scroll up a little bit. Ray Central 127. Glad you can make it in. And I think I got everybody. Yeah. I'm going to say I got everybody. Oh, look at that. Oh. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. What else we got? And Ian, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to figure out why this doesn't switch back after I do that graphic. But I appreciate you guys. And yes, I didn't want to let anybody down. I was just so amazed that when I got out of the surgery, there was no pain. The doctor says, "What's your pain level?" I said, 2. He looked at me. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You guys did a good job." Starting them off. There you go. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I am definitely feeling good. I mean, it was a little bit, even when I got home, I was still feeling kind of in la la land, I guess you would say. John Arthur, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in here tonight. Try Godwin, Pappy, nice to see you. All right. So I am expecting 2 visitors in this month. One of them is supposed to be this Monday coming, but I have not heard from that person yet, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But the other one is definite. He contacted me and asked me what day I wanted him to come over, the 28th or the 29th. And I told him it was up to him. I'm available both nights. So yeah. So that should be fun. I won't tell you who they are until they get here. And maybe we'll even sit down and do a live stream with him here. I don't know. We'll see. Split Rock, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in tonight. 43. Okay. I want to thank each and every one of you for both here and on YouTube and on Facebook for all the get well and prayers that were sent to me for this procedure I was going to do. Thank you, Mr. Kevin Brown. I appreciate that, buddy. That's no problem, buddy. I missed you too. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for all of that. That was really, really thoughtful of everybody. Even on my Facebook page, I got a ton of get wells and all of that kind of stuff. So I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Video tomorrow is going to be what progress I have made on finding the short that's in my layout. And you'll see exactly what I did. And I also did a major cleanup of the room. So you guys are going to be really, really impressed when you see it. It's about a 20-minute video. And I did it when I came home from the hospital. Jim Tedesco, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in here tonight. We got 46 in here. All right. And yeah, so I think that's all for my stuff here. Put that away. No, I got to keep this out. Keep forgetting that the questions are here. There you go. All right. So let's see. Just making sure everybody's in there. 48 peoples. And here we go. What happened? There we go. All right, guys, I want you to meet Mr. James Brassill. He is the owner of Boulder Creek Yard. And you can see his layout sitting up there behind him. It's not a big layout at all, but it seems to be pretty active. Lots of activity on there for him to do. It's 2 foot by 12 foot. Am I correct about that?
Yeah,
James? Okay.
correct.
Anyhow, we're gonna get to know James a little bit better tonight. And guys, he has 179 subscribers. So please, let's see if we can get him up close to 200 tonight. That's 20 people out of the 51 that are here. So let's see if we can do that for him. Okay. All right. So James, welcome to Hanging with the Cuz.
How's it going, everybody?
And meet the modeler. So you are the modeler that we are meeting. Hello, Mr. Gary Weiss. How's it going, buddy? I am Gary. I just want to let you know something here. See, Gary, I have it out of the box. Anyhow, all right. So, who is James Brassill?
Well, about mid-30s and been modeling for not very long. We'll go into that later, I guess. But I live in Boulder Creek, California, and I started YouTube a couple months ago at this point, February timeframe, I think. But I've been seriously modeling a little bit longer than that. Not too much by comparison to some people here.
Humanity Junction's always got a great bunch of questions for you.
Yeah. So I won't go too further into that right now.
So I didn't hear he's just putting up there now. Did you win the NMRBO contest?
My mom just asked me that earlier today, and I said nope because those results don't come out until July sometime frame.
Now, what is that?
What was that?
Well, what is that?
Let me turn up my audio a little bit. There we go. So that's the Walters NMRBO, which stands for National Model Railroaders Build Off, and I think this is the second year. I didn't participate last year for I don't remember why, but it just didn't seem that interesting to me at the time, and I decided to take it up this year because I had a lot of free time working from home, and it's a contest where there's 3 categories: a children's category, an adults category, and then a team category. And you have to build a layout of a certain size. I think for the children, it's 2x2, 4x2 for the adults, and then 4x6 or something like that for the teams. And you buy except for the open category, you buy an entry by purchasing a kit, and it's based on like 3 to 6 buildings or something like that. And you just got to basically model with what they got. Although since you can't pay for entry into a contest in some states, they have the new open category for anybody that's interested, and you can model whatever the heck you want.
There you go. All right. CP368, glad you can make it in tonight. I appreciate that. All right. So you mentioned vaguely of when you got started into liking trains. When was that?
So that was originally as a child. I did it I came down on Christmas morning one morning, and there was, a 4x8 sheet of plywood painted green on the kitchen table, and that's how I got my start in HO scale. And I had a little Bachmann 060 steam train based on the USRA version of that train. I think they're still out there. I think they still sell them. Of course, being, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, I absolutely destroyed the thing within about a year. Because don't buy a steam train for a child who's, not very.
And you want to know something that's true, because I started out with the Lionel, right? Mm-hmm. And my grandparents used to make gloves, fancy gloves for women. And my grandpa had his workbench out in one part of the basement, and my grandma had her sewing machine in the other part. But anyhow, during the Christmas time, his workbench was clear. So I set up my trains on there, right? Now you got to think it's like 4 feet off the ground, okay? And I was whizzing that train around, and all of a sudden, it hit the deck. I was only about 8 years old.
I took mine to school for show and tell, and of course somehow broke a bunch of stuff. But I did that up until, I don't know, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And then school, high school got serious. And like a lot of people, just kind of lost interest in it. I'd keep looking at it every once in a while for the next 15 years or so. And I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I bought my house and I was like, hey, I can have an actual like model train layout in the basement now. So I'm lucky to be in California with a basement. You don't see that
Yeah,
very.
really. Here's another one of Heath's questions.
I think Jason's is longer.
It's too
I
funny.
honestly don't know who has more gray though, but I think Jason's is longer. So um,
It's
yeah,
a toss up. Jim Tedesco says it's a toss up. That's a
and then
great
I got
question.
back into it for about 3 years ago, and I've been really doing it since.
So when you were in, you didn't have that facial hair when you were in the service, did you?
No, I had a beard or a mustache occasionally, and then on one of our deployments, we could buy no shave chits, which gave us about 3 weeks of no shaving and such. So
Oh, there you go.
it was like only about that long or so. Yeah.
That's funny.
We have some guys who buy them and they'd get nothing in 3 weeks. I'd have about a quarter inch to a inch, depending on how long we had.
The chief used to tell me, in order for people to, at the time I was in order for people to grow facial hair, they had to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking through the hangar. I told you I was first stationed up in Rhode Island. So we're walking through the hangar and I was walking with the chief, and the chief goes to me, it just blows me away. Why do people want to cultivate something on their face when it grows wild in their ass? I thought that was so freaking funny. Yeah, I'm a 17-year-old kid listening to this guy totally silly. All right, let's get on with this. So, speaking that you got into it when you were a child, did you get a Lionel set on that 4x8 sheet, or what brand was it?
It was a HO scale, so I got a Bachmann. I don't think it was one of the starter kits. I don't even know where my dad got it. Might have been through my grandpa or something like that. But yeah, it was just the little Bachmann 060 and HO scale, and it was just kind of started out as a circle, and then we added another 4x8 sheet, and I'd start roads on
and
it.
Slowly start to grow.
Yeah, it never made it much further past that.
During when I was in Dennis, yes, we had to get permission to have facial hair.
The Navy gets away with it because during underways, you'd have like a month between ports, and then they'd sell them as like a morale booster type thing.
In case you guys haven't picked up on this, James is a sailor, not retired, but he was in the Navy. So good for you, buddy. Same as me, and I think we have a couple of other Navy people in here also.
Yeah, I think,
all right.
A couple of them.
All right, what is your favorite loco?
So probably my favorite is that 060, the USRA 060, and after that one that I destroyed, when I got back in, I decided to start looking them up and saw that they still sell the Bachmann one, but I went with the little bit more upscale and got the old Lifelike Proto 2000 Heritage or whatever they are. So that's probably my favorite one. And then after that, I really like the tunnel motors.
So Mr. Ray Babel, he was in the Navy also, and he is a former sonar tech. Very cool, very cool.
Remember having that conversation with him now.
Let's see, here's a long question from Heath again. What is your first SVL and how long? What's SVL?
It's Silicon Valley Lines. So
okay.
That's the club that I'm actually current president of at the moment. But I found them through TSG or John Batacola. I saw one of his like layout tour videos, and I saw basically all the ones for the Bay Area because that's where he's based at. And I just kind of picked up on what Silicon Valley Lines was doing and really liked that. And that was, I think, 2019 when I first joined there. So just over 2 years now. And the reason we only have DSL is because Comcast doesn't want to serve us. So we have really slow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks. Let's see. Where is that one? Hello, Mr. Brad Anderson. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, and to answer the rest of that, yes, I have learned a lot from the other club members. That's one of the great things about being in a club or part of like YouTube as well.
Well, it's just the whole
their idea, and you can pick and choose what you like, And if you don't like to do something, you don't have to do it that way. But you can
Right.
learn a
And,
lot
it's,
from
and
everybody.
it's just not a couple of people. It's the entire community that's
Yeah.
helpful. You ask for help and they're going to get it. Rail artist. Let's see. Splintlock U.S. Marines. All right, cool. Let's see. Where do you go? Rail artist, Navy Corpsman, assigned to USMC during Vietnam. Hey, we were in about the same time there, buddy.
Laughing at
Except I was on a boat floating around, enjoying life on the Mediterranean Riviera. All right, let's see. Do you have any any diesel locomotives on your layout?
I do. I have a number of more modern stuff. Don't really have too much transitional stuff at the moment, but I have GP38, if I'm not mistaken. I've got a bunch of tunnel motors. Set that down. GEVOs and stuff like that. I've got most of them put away because with the layout being so small, and to answer Nissy's comment, it's a 12 by 2 foot. But with the layout being so small, it's kind of unsturdy. So I need to figure out a way to like put some wider feet on it or something because I can knock it.
Wow.
Really so.
Holy mother. Joe Rader.
Ooh.
I am impressed with that. ICBM launch person.
Have to be down in the silos.
I want to say hello to Redbird Tony. He just joined us tonight. And Humanity's got, did you get uncoupled? What was that?
Oh, so it's these uncouplers that we got for HO scale that you can use your decoder to uncouple.
Right. I've seen those.
Yeah, it just heats up a little wire. And we got them to work after I blew out 2 of them at about $30. So you live and you learn. He's not the only one that burns things up.
No, he's not.
I'm sure everybody has done it in one way or another.
So now, Digger wants to know if Joe Rader ever launched any of these ICBMs. Stop. All right. Let's see. Do you prefer, well, you can't do one of these, but I'm going to ask you anyhow. Do you prefer continuous run or switching ops?
Oh, man, that's a hard one. I'd have to say a combination of both is what I'd like. I really miss being able to do some continuous run stuff here. But I did set it out for switching ops because with the space constraints, I was considering going bigger on my layout, but my basement's really narrow because we're on the side of a hill. So I ended up with the really narrow, ended up with switching ops. But I like doing switching ops, not to say that I'm good with it. So I think a combination of both is what I would prefer.
So do you have intentions of growing that layout?
At some point I do. Actually, my contest diorama, which is off the camera over that way, is originally intended to be an extension of this by about 4 feet. I just got to build the stand for it. But it's going to give me another 4 feet. And then the plan is to take it off when I'm not using it. So I have more basement room and then put it up when I want to use it.
So Mr. Roy Array Central 127 wants to know, how do you clean your track?
One of those little bright boy things is mainly how I do it. And keep alives. So I'm not really, that crazy about keeping it. I haven't done the no aux stuff or whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, I basically just use a bright boy. That's all I do because it's only 12 feet of track.
Heath has got another question for you. When are you starting your garden layout?
It's a good question. I still got to get my property cleaned up. We had a fire here in August, wildfire.
Oh, no.
So I'm still in the process of cleaning everything up, which is perfect timing, I guess, because it burned up a lot of the little brush. So I got to go remove it anyways. So it's going to give me room to do that. I'm thinking about a switching layout up the side of the hill or switchback layout, like an old logging layout. But hopefully next year. So I got the room to do it.
Mr. Otter Creek Dennis, I would appreciate that you don't announce somebody else's stream going on right now. That's not nice. Let's see. Okay, we'll get to this question right here from Thomas Sprintlock. He wants to know what your favorite prototype railroad is.
Mine would definitely be Union Pacific. That's what I have most stuff for, which in turn means Southern Pacific and a little bit of CNW, which Silicon Valley Lines has kind of co-opted their color scheme because it's really simple to just remove decals. But I'd say my favorite prototype is Union Pacific, and then the attached brands that they've swallowed up.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite rolling stock?
Favorite rolling stock would probably. Oh man, I have a lot of stuff that I find interesting, but stuff that you can get more detail on. I'd say tank cars are really cool. The simple fact that you can get a lot of little piping detail on them, and the
Yeah.
shelf couplers are a really interesting thing for me. They're also handy because they're hard to decouple when your layout isn't perfect. So, but I'd say probably tank cars. I find them to be pretty interesting.
You guys might be right. I might have misinterpreted that statement that Dennis made. So if I did, I am sorry. He was just trying to convey something else to me, and I didn't understand what he was saying. So please accept my apology on that. Okay. Why did you choose the scale that you chose?
It probably stems from starting out that way as a child. It's what I knew, and it's a good compromise between detail and size. I did before I built anything. I got some N scale stuff, and I like to get the old kits and stuff and put them together, or get old cars and weather them up and whatnot. But I tried N scale, tried changing out the couplers, and just I had a hard time doing it. My hands were kind of shaky at it, and I realized, in 20 years or whatever, am I going to be wanting to deal with something this small? And the answer was no. So I ended up with HO scale. However, I do have some N scale stuff, but I haven't ended up putting it in a layout or anything yet. So probably buy things that I don't have to modify couplers on.
Go ahead and read. Go ahead and read and answer Heath's question.
So I do have some N scale stuff. I'm actually planning on starting just a little diorama with some N scale stuff. Something to go around the Christmas tree, because our Christmas tree is only about 3 feet tall or something. We bring it in during the Christmas time. It's a live tree. And I want
Oh,
something that
wow.
can go around the base of it. And then once it gets too big, we'll go plant it out in the yard somewhere and start over again.
Let's see. Do you model a specific area, or are you just freelancing it?
Was that area or era?
Area.
Okay, area. Yeah, Boulder Creek is kind of what I'm doing. Santa Cruz Mountains. Granted, my layout's pretty flat, and but there's a couple flat spots in Boulder Creek, which is in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and that's kind of what I'm currently modeling. Is just one of the flat areas. We did have a rail line that came through in the early 1900s, but that dried up when Southern Pacific decided to not actually build the tunnel between here and San Jose. So, but
All right. So we're about halfway through with my questions, plus all the ones that come in between. And yeah, that's right. You know what? I need to, Ralph, thanks for bringing that up for me. I need to get in touch with them so I can do a discount on my merchandise. Hello, Dave. How's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it in here tonight. Same question, Digger. Let's see. Okay, they're talking about cleaning the track and stuff. All right, let's see. How often and how do you do videos? Let's put it that way first.
So yeah, I do. I have a YouTube channel, Boulder Creek Yard. Kind of on a break at the moment, but I'm trying to get back into making videos. Maybe not next week, but I think my plan now that we're back in the office, at least part time, is I'll probably end up doing one video on a Friday or something like that, and then maybe a short video here and there if we're doing anything interesting. I also do some videos for Silicon Valley Lines YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
So live streams and stuff through that mainly for their offset for our remote ops sessions. But right now it's basically I'm going to go to one a week or every other week.
Well, you know, according to the YouTube gurus, they say that you should be consistent on how you post and when you post and how many you post. They say consistency is very, very important.
Yeah, so you're not surprising people and they can predict you. Um,
Have you weathered
I,
any of your rolling stock or locomotives?
so I have weathered some of my rolling stock. No locomotives yet that are actually mine. I've weathered up some stuff for Silicon Valley lines, and I weathered it up to be prototypical to that actual specific engine. And most of my personal stuff isn't weathered yet. I have a hard time weathering up, a $300 scale car. There
Exactly.
are there are some guys who do some amazing stuff, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that level of detail yet.
Exactly. Me neither.
Once I get more comfortable with it, and I know I'm not going to mess something up and have to strip down a $300 shell or something like that, I might.
Yeah, that is my worst subject in the whole hobby is weathering. I cannot weather to save my butt.
Yeah,
So,
you end up doing a lot of weathering on just blue box stuff that I get.
will you be doing any electronic videos, camera, car, Arduino, etc.?
Probably on the camera car. I have some plans to do some of that stuff because we have a walkthrough on Silicon Valley lines about doing the POV camera stuff with Raspberry Pis, but we haven't actually put out any video on like here's how to do it end to end. It'll probably be more of like here's the hardware that we use and here's an actual like step by step, but it's on the website, and then show you a couple of the things in between on how to do that.
Can you post up a picture of the layout?
Yeah.
Because John Arthur wants to see it.
Let me see if I can find my. So I have a couple of them. Actually, hold
The
on.
one that was in the video today would be the one I'd like for everybody to see. And then what I'll do is I'll make you big so you can show it off.
Yeah, I got to remember where I put that one. So it's still in my video projects folder. Here we go. Where did I put that stuff? Oh yeah, Sparky. There's not much on my web page yet. I get into it and then I kind of drop off on that stuff.
Oh, is that a web page? It's not your YouTube channel that he's got up there?
Well, Sparky just shared my web page as well, which my plans are to put stuff in there as I do videos, and I haven't been keeping up on that. Go to Adobe Spark. That's where I've got the photo.
Kyle Stevens, glad you could make it in, buddy.
All right.
I'm not seeing any more questions. While you're looking for that, I'll ask you another question.
All right.
Do you post on any other formats?
I do on Instagram. I was considering doing Facebook, but I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook stuff, so I just don't like the layout of that whole website. But I know Instagram is owned by Facebook, so I'm not really.
So that doesn't make a difference, right?
Yeah, but if you search up Boulder Creek Yard on Instagram, you'll find it there. We'll just show my panel for my panel server. That's the easiest way to do it. Because I have no clue where I've hidden that picture. I usually always put my associated media into the video files or into the folder, right. But I clearly didn't do that for my layout tour video. All right, so hold up. This will be up in a second. All right, photo's loading now. Okay, share. We'll go share screen. Okay, let's see.
Got some cool structures on there too that I was looking at. I was very impressed with the structures that are on there.
I've definitely weathered my structures a whole heck of a lot more than anything else. All right, we'll go and share this. That's not flashing like crazy, is it?
Yeah, it is.
What's going on there? There we go. Okay, I just
There you
picked it
go.
up on that side. All right, so yeah, it's just basically a single like straight through main line, which is up here, and kind of corners on either end, which I ended up making a little too tight for some of my longer rolling stock, and the distance between this last switch and the end of the layout is horrible distance. So I have to figure out a way to extend that, and that's actually part of what the contest layout it was planning to achieve for the other side. But I could fit about 3 normal sized 50-foot box cars and a switcher in there, and that's about it. So it makes operations fun. I've done a couple of remote ops sessions with people in my club, which I'm going to try and eventually do some more of those to allow, other people on YouTube and people I know and whatnot to do remote ops on my layout. But I have a passing siding down here, an engine shed over here, repair and place facility. So if I do like an ops session, I'll occasionally throw in, hey, this car needs to be set out of the rip track because they found it's got a broken coupler or something like that when it came down
Yeah,
the hill.
that makes it more interesting to do stuff like that.
Yep, stuff that's not actually on the ops session layout. And it's just a small switching layout, and it ended up working out better for ops than I thought it would have.
I want to say hello to Mr. BR Tree 74. Thanks for joining us in tonight. Hope you like what we're doing.
Yes, it is very similar to the time saver.
Joe Raider says Facebook's got him in jail again. Whatever that is. So, anyhow, do you want to continue talking about the layout?
If anybody has any questions on it, we can pop it up as needed.
Okay, all right. So let's continue on then. What do you like about the hobby?
My biggest like about the hobby is probably the people. Like that's really what it is. Everybody, for the most part, I'm part of a number of other hobbies, and you always get those people who are kind of gatekeepers to the hobby. There are those in model railroading, but they are very few and far between. Maybe that's just the people I'm surrounding myself with, but rarely do you find somebody saying truly putting down toy trains or something like that, or a certain scale. You very rarely do you see anything like that, and everybody's really willing to share their ideas and thoughts. Second would be the actual modeling.
This is another question from Heath. Basically, he's asking the question I just asked you, but he goes a little bit more detailed to it. What's your favorite part of modeling? What part of model railroading do you like? And what part of model railroading would you pay someone else because you can't do it or you hate it?
So my favorite part of model railroading is, as I said, the people. My favorite part of modeling itself, the actual modeling, is probably layout building and doing different models and scenery. I really like scenery, and if I was going to drill it down on that one specifically, it'd be painting rocks. I don't know why, but I really like painting rock faces. I saw
Good, you can come to my house when we start doing my scenery. You could do some rock faces for me.
Yeah, I really like it. I have no idea why that one just it's satisfying to watch a rock go from something white to light.
Yes, until it looks real. I know. I'm blessed that in all the hobbies I do, everyone is helpful. No drama for the most part. Yeah, and he's right.
Yeah. What would I pay other people to do? I don't really even know that I would pay somebody else to really do something, unless it was a commissioned piece of like rolling stock or something like that I wanted to be absolutely perfect. Maybe I'd send it off to somebody, but honestly, I'd probably prefer to just try and do it myself first.
Try and do it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed you, Kevin. Sorry about that, buddy. All righty. All right, so we know what you like about the hobby. What don't you like about the hobby?
That's also another hard one. What do I despise? Well, it used to be I used to despise doing ballast, but as I got more practice in that one, it's definitely become a lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely does come easier.
Planning layouts to be operational is probably the other thing that I am not too fond of. But I've never really done much of it. So the initial planning stages are kind of the thing that kind of annoys me because I'm always like, once I've got it down, it's going to be a total nightmare to fix. But once I'm past that stage of planning it and I actually start doing it, then it becomes like an afterthought.
Yep, exactly. Well, you mentioned before that the module you're going to be doing is going to be an N scale, so you will have two layouts, basically.
Yeah, it'll be about. I think it has to be what 18 inches at least or something like that. I have no clue about N scale stuff, so I really don't know what your normal minimum curve is. So I'm gonna make it like 2 feet and just be basically a circle on some foam.
With N scale, you can go really tight. You can go down to like 10 or 11 inch radius.
Okay, so yeah, that would be perfect for.
Yeah. So if you're doing a 4 foot square, that's a 20-inch radius right there.
Yeah.
That's my helix. My helix is that way. It's a 20-inch radius.
So I'll probably look at 36 inches then. But yeah, it'd effectively be kind of two layouts. The center won't really have much in it because of the tree's going to go there. But I was planning to put buildings and stuff on the outside. I don't know if I'd have any on it, but maybe.
You got a question here from CAMP Railroad. What would you prefer, passenger or freight, steam or diesel?
Probably freight. I don't have much passenger stuff. I have probably put together maybe a couple of passenger cars, but it's mainly freight and more diesel than anything. But I do like steam as well. I just don't have as much of it because I find the modern diesel, specifically switchers, to be a lot more interesting. That might be because of my layout being so small.
So you had mentioned earlier that you are modeling the Boulder Creek area.
Mm-hmm.
So are you fully modeling that area, or are you doing a little bit of freelance in between?
So fully modeling that area. It's kind of, I'm gonna have redwoods and stuff. I haven't quite made it that far yet on there, but the trees are all gonna be redwoods. There's gonna be the backdrop is gonna be mountains going up because it's really mountainous area right here.
Right.
However, the extension that I have for it, the contest diorama, is Kentucky. So I guess I'm kind of modeling everywhere.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Yeah, because I was like, I can't really do that kind of coal country out here, and it's like unless it's an alternate universe where CSX, found coal in Boulder Creek or something like that, which I guess you could say that, but yeah, there's not really much interchange between coal and my layout, which is mostly set up to do like road aggregates, like asphalt and stuff like that. So.
All right, let's move it on here. Are you DC or DCC? And if you're DCC, what brand are you using?
So I do DCC, and it's also I'm using the Pysprog, and actually going to upgrade to the Pysprog 2 or 3 or whatever the next version is here once I can get my hands on it because it has some interesting features on it. But that kind of makes it system agnostic for the most part. I can bring anybody in and they can run whatever the heck they have as long as they have a cell phone. Some people don't like running on cell phones and whatnot, but the nice thing about it being based kind of around JMRI is they can bring in, a Wi-Fi throttle of any sort, which I believe the new Digitrax one works on.
Digitrax, yeah.
And then the TS or TCS UWT 50 or 100s, which I have the 50 on order because I found that I want a physical throttle after 3 years of doing it this way. I want like a physical throttle dedicated.
Exactly. Nissy got a question for you. What has been the hardest skill to master?
I don't know that I've mastered any of them yet, but probably making realistic looking water is one thing that I found to be much more tricky than I initially thought. I knew it would be hard to get it to look like really good and not just be either too shiny or kind of look like you poured glue in something. But definitely water pours for me is probably the thing that I'm still struggling with and learning.
Let's see. Do you have a specific time period era that you're doing?
It's modern right now is what I've kind of decided on. Like basically 2020s is my idea. But I also have some steam stuff, and it'd be like an excursion train or something like that would come through. I don't have any passenger steam trains at cars at this time, but I'd like to change that.
Anthony Dodge has a question. He says, if money and space were not an issue, what other areas, lines, systems is would interest you in modeling?
So I'd really actually like to model like the Cascades would be a cool one. The time when Milwaukee Road was running. I got a couple of those engines given to me, and I started looking at it, and I was thinking if I ever had a big layout somewhere, I'd probably do a combination of the two. I'd have one section be Boulder Creek area, and then I'd have a small section randomly for whatever reason be a couple miles of something in the Cascades where I could run Milwaukee Road.
Do you prefer kit builds or scratch builds?
I've only so far done a little bit of scratch building. I'd say that's also a hard one for me to answer because I haven't done too much scratch building, but I enjoy that process, and I think I'm going to start doing more and more scratch building, whether it be based
It's fun.
on whether it
It's
be based
fun.
on
It's frustrating, but it's fun.
I also like kit bashing stuff, so I've done a little bit of kit bashing as well.
Yeah.
And I found that to be rather entertaining. And it's not necessarily even just kit bashing, but taking a kit structure and then super detailing it or modifying the way that it's laid out, or even putting some scratch built stuff on it too. But
Hello, Mr. F and B. Thank you for showing up.
But I definitely
you're doing very well in the hot seat there, kiddo.
Thanks.
Let's see. We already talked about you cleaning track, so let's move on to this one. Do you have a current project going on?
Right now,
and if so, what is it?
So I have about half of my layout is not really scenic at all, and I don't know why this photo is so small, but can't really show that then. For whatever reason, the photo is like thumbnail size. But half of my layout is not at all scenic. It's just paint on foam board with a little bit of what's that stuff, sculpt a mold. So my current project is getting the other half at least base scenery. And that'll probably be my next video, is putting down the dirt and just getting a start on that part of the project.
All right, let's see. How did you come up with the name for your railroad?
Basically, I already saw that Boulder Creek Railroad was taken by Luke Towan. So, and I was originally calling my layout that before I started YouTube and all that stuff. And, but when I saw that he had already taken like Boulder Creek Yard, which is fine because I'm sure there's plenty of boulders or Boulder Creek Railroad. I'm sure there's plenty of boulders in Australia somewhere. Really big ones, in fact.
Let's see. Looking at the questions that are popping out. Okay, continue. Finish what you're doing.
So I picked it because I live in Boulder Creek, and that's the area that I was modeling. And I wanted to do like a yard scene. I originally had a whole yard on one side of my layout. Took that out for to put in more scenery, and the name just kind of stuck. And that's just what I went with.
Here's another question from Heath. He says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Well, when I was a kid, it was probably the standard firefighter, race car driver, something like that. But now, well, it's just being an IT guy. I enjoy that type of work and working with computers and all kinds of tech stuff. So being a tech guy.
All righty then. What model would you like to see that's not available now and that you would want?
I had the perfect answer for this a couple of months ago, and I forgot what it was. It was some of the gen sets, some of the little switchers that are coming out.
Yeah.
Those really small runs of like 30 of them where they've got, off the shelf caterpillars or something stuck in them. And I don't remember exactly which model it was, but I was like, spamming it at Scale Trains one day. Like, you need to make some more switchers, or you need to make switchers, in fact. But
There you go.
it'd be some of the gen sets. I'd like to see more of those made. Atlas has some, but man, they're sold out. And in
Yeah,
the
stuff is coming off the shelves like crazy. I don't
yeah,
know how it is where all you guys live, but just driving around here in Phoenix, I noticed that all the car lots, the new cars and the used car lots, are empty.
mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a place that I pass when I go to the hospital to go to my appointments. Uh, it's a big Dodge Ram store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they had a separate parking lot right on the street where the hospital is that I go for my thing. And that lot used to be totally full. Now I passed in and
Yeah.
it's empty, totally
Yeah.
empty. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's the same thing out here too. It's hard to find a used car for at least a good price. But yeah, they're pretty empty too. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Let's see.
definitely get gen sets would be the answer to that one. Some more gen sets for more companies, because I find those little locomotives, those one-off type of things, or small production runs to be really interesting. I get that it doesn't make sense for these guys to make, but that would be my wish.
Yeah. And I was gonna show you a picture of the car that I just bought.
CP368, yeah, I definitely do. They run better in HO scale than they do in 1-to-1. So
There
as
you go. That
far
was
as I
funny.
hear, they're a little bit more reliable.
Do you have any other hobbies?
I do. So one of the other hobbies, and one of the ones that I was doing during my break from model railroading, was brewing beer. That's one of the things that I do sometimes, and I haven't really done it for a while, so I'm kind of getting back into it. But I was kind of focusing on relearning a lot of that, so I could do it, on the side once a week or once a month or something like that. I also have fish, and I also have a 3D printer, which that one's kind of a tertiary hobby to a lot of things. Same with, sorry, my cat just came in. So another tertiary hobby is kind of wargaming, which I want to do some of that, but that's going to teach me to paint better, I think. That's at least
Yes.
my hope. So,
So
yeah,
Heath wants to know lager or ale.
I've done a couple of lagers, but I don't have temperature control, so I can't really actually truly lager anything. So they kind of end up being ales for the most part. But I like all styles. I don't have a particular one that I hate or love, so I'm gonna try a bunch until I find some stuff that really comes out good. And Ralph, yeah, all grain brewing or brewing a bag is what I've been doing lately, just because it's easier.
Dig Evans made a good statement right there. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. That's true. Humanity Junction, more beer, wine, or champagne?
I brew beer. So I have my neighbor Murph, Richard Murphy. He does all of the wine stuff if I ever want any of that. So just down the road, makes quite a bit of that.
And checking to see if there's any other questions that we might have missed. If anybody has any questions, please go ahead and post it up and we'll get it answered for you. I know James is looking for all these different questions from you guys.
Yeah.
And don't forget after the show to go to his channel. Ralph has been posting it all night long. Go to his channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and watch at least 2 of his videos so the subscriber does not go away. That's my rant for tonight. Wig Wag Workshop. I posted one a bit back. I've lost conversation. I never figured out. All right. So, and no more questions? Come on, there's got to be more questions. You guys got to have more questions.
For John Arthur's question, for operations, I use JMRI. Actually, I don't really use JMRI. That's how my railroad operates and remotely and whatnot. But I just write out, what needs to go where, what's coming in, what needs to move, So I guess that's kind of like car cards, more of a switch list than anything else.
Yeah, my switch list consists of me writing down on a piece of paper what has to be done, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I may be president of Silicon Valley Lines, which we're an operational club, but I am not very good at operations. I'm still learning a lot of that.
All right, we got a question from Are You a Trained Man Too? James, have you ever joined or considered joining a model club?
So to answer that, actually, I just spoke about that. I'm president. I'm president of Silicon Valley Lines, model railroad club in San Jose, California, and so yeah, I did consider that. That's how I get my big layout fix. Yeah, my wife was like, if you're building something in your basement, why do you need to be part of a model railroading club? I was like, because you want to see what other would be in our basement if I wasn't part of a club. So that's actually what made me shrink my layout. It was going to be 12 by 6 and kind of a dog bone shape so I could easily reach everything because I'm not a tall person and my reach is really short. Um, but it got downsized a lot when I joined the club, and that was kind of my reasoning. Structure manufacturers. So I end up building a lot of Walther's stuff. However, I've recently started looking at a lot of the more craftsman kits, and so far I've only done one from Builders in Scale. I think that their instructions can leave a little bit to be desired, but the outcome is really good. Yeah.
That's one of my pet peeves with Walther's kits.
Oh,
The
Walther's
instructions really suck.
I mean, when you have 40 or 50 parts on a Walther's kit, you can kind of figure it out by just kind of piecing things together. And if the nice
Yeah.
thing about plastic is if you mess up, you can kind of pull it apart if you don't use super glue. But with like the Builders and Scale stuff, if you mess up, you're gonna have to remake that piece out of something scratch.
Now,
So
Mr.
Kevin,
Kevin
yeah,
Brown says, yeah, go ahead.
it can. I just haven't gotten that deep into it. And I think I need to watch Flying Crow's videos on that. They're on my saved list because I believe he has
I
some.
need to figure out why my JMRI quit working on me, and I can't figure out what's going on.
Um, well, updating version or maybe rolling back a version might work. That's one thing that I've noticed.
Yeah, it's like I update the Java all the time. Like when it comes up, Java is waiting for you, so I do that, and it just quit working one day, and I really liked it because that's how I was programming my locomotives. Now I can't do that. I would not use it for a switch list or anything like that.
Yeah.
I would just use it for the speed matching.
Try updating the version of JMRI to
I'll have to
whatever
try
the
that.
version is. See if that works. Because if Java and all these Java programs aren't moving in lockstep, you get all this bad outcome on a lot of.
We got two questions here. We got one from Heath.
It can be kind of intimidating for sure. Mainly because I don't know a lot of the history of the club besides what people have told me. So all these people have been in the club for 20 or 30 years, and I kind of have to talk to a lot of them to make sure that I'm not stepping on anything that has happened in the past. That's probably one of the big ones for me is just knowing the history of the club and whatnot. I know it, but there's a lot of little details in there that I constantly have to ask people about because why are we doing something this way, or why are we doing it that way, etc.
Mr. Wigwag Workshop wants to know your favorite structure kit manufacturer and favorite structure kit you built.
Well, so far it'd be that Builders in Scale for the manufacturer, but my favorite structure that I built was this little one back up here. It's a Walther's train line kit. So like the bottom of the barrel in terms of detail, I don't remember what brand it originally was, but I built that before I knew the difference between all the different levels of Walthers and whatnot, which is only 2 really. But when I realized it was kind of bland and that I had to paint it, I decided to not paint it. I just detailed and weathered the heck out of it. So I think that's probably the one structure that I'm really, really proud of.
There you go.
I mean, I'm proud of some of the stuff on my new section, but not as proud as that one because that's my first real structure build. and that's the train line factory or something like that. Basic kit.
Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're going to call this stream good. And I want to thank you, James, for showing up and being my guest tonight, sitting in the hot seat and taking all the questions that I and the group has thrown at you. I appreciate that. And I hope we got some more. I hope we got some more subscribers tonight. Let's see. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Did I miss that one? No, I think I missed that one. This is the one I wanted. Your question: on scale from 1 to 10, how is the virtual running of trains going? Major tech issues?
So I'd say it's probably about an 8 for what's out there. We've probably got to go at about an 8. There's definitely room for a lot of improvement, but not as much as just getting the thing to be reliable and run. And for major tech issues, a couple weeks ago, the internet was out at the club because AT&T, for some reason, had an outage, and that stopped our ops night for the most part because we hadn't yet opened up fully to the public. We had capacity restrictions, so we couldn't have everybody down there to have a normal ops night. So most people were at home. So with the internet being out, that completely stopped it. We had to move it to another week, and so it was usually the last Friday of the month. We had to move it to the next Friday, which kind of set this whole long chain of things off. But
apparently, you have 190 subscribers right now.
I had 180 when I started down here a little bit ago.
Yeah, when I watched the video, it was 179, and so now it's 181. John Arthur says 181, and it's early in the stream.
So as for like the remote ops stuff, I think it's actually going to start going really well here soon because we're hosting the only, as far as I know, it's the only ops session during the NMRA Nationals. And it's going to be basically kind of like our open house style. Because if you've never operated on our layout, it can kind of be confusing on where you're at.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're going to be doing more or less the only ops session for the NMRA Nationals this year, as far as I know. There might be other people who have joined in, but should be fun.
All right, guys, I'm going to call this show good only because I am hungry. I want to eat. And I don't know what I'm going to eat tonight. I'm thinking maybe just going to Denny's and just pick something up and bring it home and just sit down on the couch and pig out. But anyhow, again, I want to thank you for being my guest tonight. I appreciate that. And I hope you get more than 190 subscribers when this is over tonight.
And thanks for the great questions. You know, it made me think of a lot of things that I already knew, but didn't really put into focus. It put a lot of things into focus for me. So
there you go.
Yep. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
There you go. All right. All right, guys, we're going to call it good. Take care. Don't forget my premiere video tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. And you'll be surprised at what I've done. Anyhow, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.